Hey, welcome to Dumb Love. I'm Sally Brooks.
And I'm Jen O'Neill Smith, and this is a podcast about all of the dumb things that people do for love.
Dum 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 dee doo be dum 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 dee doo be dum 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 dee doo be dum wow 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 wow.
So welcome to episode 1. So Jen, we wanted to do this podcast because we wanted to hang out.
Yes.
And also we're stand-up comedians, so we see each other a lot at stand-up shows, and I'm kind of tired of talking about stand-up.
I don't want to talk about stand-up.
Ever again.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but some of my favorite stories, and I think some of the stories that we've shared with each other are just like the dumb things that people do for love that we've done. Like the woman that drove across country in her diaper, the astronaut. Like, that's a love story.
That is. It's a very romantic love story,
Right?
actually.
And it's actually a story about a woman who's efficient.
I know. And she loved so hard.
She loves so hard, and
No time for pee.
No time for pee.
When you love so hard. Well, you know that I love reality TV. I'm obsessed with reality TV and all that stuff. And the true crime, everybody, you know, in my stand-up, I talk about all the time how much I love true crime and the Murder Channel and all that stuff. But my favorite stories are always the ones that are, you know, motivated by love, you know, and like just people, their intentions are so good and pure in the beginning, but somehow it takes a wrong turn. And like, you know, we've all done dumb things. We've all, like, every single one of us has done a dumb thing in the name of love. Like maybe you've like moved across the country for a dude that you've like never met, or maybe you, you know, dyed your hair black and pretended that you've always liked The Cure. I've probably done that. And then, or like, you know, maybe you shot Ronald Reagan to prove that you love Jodie Foster, because that's a thing somebody did for love.
I'm like way too young to remember that.
I feel like Jodie didn't really appreciate. Were you too young for that?
No.
Oh, I was like, wait, no, but I mean, I don't think Jodie like really appreciated it. You know?
Like that's like, talk about a grand gesture.
I know.
I mean,
that
it's
is
a swing and a miss,
grand
but...
gesture. It's like, I'm gonna go. I mean, Ronald's fine. By the way, he survived.
He's dead.
Well, he's dead now.
Yeah.
But he was fine. He never actually got shot. Did he get shot?
I
can't
asking
remember.
the wrong person.
We'll have to look that up.
Google it. So anyway, so we wanted to share with you and share with each other some really romantic love stories that took a turn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got one here that was extremely romantic. Probably the most romantic proposal that I've ever heard of. So there's a guy, his name, in 2012, a 30-year-old wealthy Russian businessman, hot, named Alexei Bakov. Alexei or Alexei, I'm not sure which one. But he wanted to propose to his longtime girlfriend, Irina Kolokov. So he had her come meet him at the special destination.
Mm-hmm. Was it like a romantic, like, this is where we had our first date, or just...
I'm not sure if it was a significant place, but it had to be significant enough for him because he planned this elaborate proposal. Okay. But okay, so she gets there though, and instead of, you know, seeing her love, instead she sees ambulances, like policemen, and like a huge car crash, and then she sees Alexei, her boyfriend, on the ground, completely mangled, covered in blood, and then one of the police officers or whatever takes Irina to the side and tells her, like, I'm so sorry, but your boyfriend has been killed.
That's horrible.
I know, right? This doesn't sound like a romantic proposal, but
there's a twist.
The twist. Right as she's sobbing and crying her eyes out and mourning the death of her beloved, all of a sudden, Alexei comes running out from the ambulance, giggling, holding flowers and a single Mylar golden balloon.
What?
Gold Mylar balloon. Not even like made of gold. It was just the color.
Well, I mean, that would be a gold.
He's a
rich
wealthy
guy.
businessman. Just one single Mylar balloon. And proposes to her. Like, he's like, surprise!
Wait, so
I'm
the whole
not-
thing was a setup?
The whole thing was a setup. He hired a stuntman. He like hired a makeup artist, a screenwriter, and a director to stage his death. Like, he put a ton of money into his fake death, but not a lot of money into his balloonage.
He was like, oh, I'm just gonna stop by a Dollar Tree on my way over.
yeah.
Get
God, I
over
love-
Ooh, maybe I should get something for her. She's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
feel
yeah.
a little sad.
I know what'll cheer her up. A balloon.
It's like one of those balloons that are like the number you get for your kids, like a 2 or a whatever.
Yeah, it was just like a question mark balloon. Like, am I dead? No, I think it was actually in the shape of a star, I believe, where it was like, Papel! I'm alive. But he said that, this is a quote, a direct quote from him. He said, quote, I wanted her to realize how empty her life would be without me and how life would have no meaning without me. And I think it worked. Like, how effed is that?
What a
Dick.
what? A
Dick.
narcissist.
Total narcissist. Like, usually the proposals are something like, you know, oh my God, I can't live my life without you. You're so amazing. And you're perfect for me. And thank you for all that. I'm a better man because of you. But it's like, this is like a reverse proposal where it's like, see how much you love me?
Right.
See how much your life would suck if I died?
And she said yes.
She said yes, and then they actually ended up getting married. Now, whether or not they stayed married, I could not find that online. But like, come on, Arena.
See, I think she was like, oh, we're not married if he's actually dead. Like, this is what was going through her head. If he's dead, I don't get any of that businessman money.
True.
But if I marry him and then I kill him in a car
Then
accident,
I kill him.
I mean, I think we're gonna have a follow-up on this one.
I mean, I think she deserves a good
Oh yeah, he sounds like
murder. No, we don't condone murder in any way. We don't want her to murder him, but I do think that she could maybe,
divorce him and take him for all his money.
totally. He
Yeah.
sounds like he deserves it because he sounds like a total narcissist, selfish piece of shit. Alexei Bukov. But here's the worst part.
There's a worst part.
Yes.
There's a worse part than the Mylar balloon.
Yeah.
The singer Mylar.
Okay, so yeah, this is why he's so terrible. He's terrible because he faked his own death. He's terrible because he only gave her a single golden Mylar balloon. And then he's terrible because he proposed in red overalls.
Oh,
Jean,
Arena.
red denim overalls.
I feel like that's like where I'm judging her the most.
Like, put on a nice shirt, dude. If you're gonna spend all this money on your, like, the screenwriter and your director and your makeup artist and your stuntman, like,
do you think he was like, oh, it's going to really pop
Where's-
on screen?
yeah, that's
These
right.
red overalls.
And we're gonna show it on our Instagram that we just created. We're gonna show you guys a picture of this monstrosity, which is the red overalls and him covered in blood and a white bandage wrapped around his head to stop the fake bleeding, and then her sobbing and
Holding her single sad.
yeah, her
dollar
single
store
sad
balloon.
balloon. But I don't know. Good luck to you.
I mean, that's a great story. That's a great story, and I just can't wait for the follow-up.
Well, what's crazy is that, okay, well, I don't have a follow-up for them, but what's crazy is that there was a copycat fake death proposal that
That's
happened.
like a dude thing to do, right? Like,
I know.
that sounds really good. I want to make her suffer.
I want to see how much she loves me.
Yeah.
I want to see her fucking cry. Oh my god. It's like one of those like sitcoms where there's the fake funeral eulogy
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then everybody's like, I'm alive. But anyway, there was in 2018 a man in the Philippines. His name's Jeffrey Del Rio. He had staged a fatal motorcycle accident while his girlfriend arrived on a moped, and she starts screaming, and she sees him laying lifeless on the pavement, and the police actually have to rush and like restrain her because she's so upset. And then he's like, but I'm alive, will you marry me? And she did. Like, come on, ladies.
Look,
I couldn't I mean, they obviously have some relationship issues.
Right?
They
If
had
you-
to have beforehand. They knew, like, if you're still with a guy that is this self-absorbed, you probably know, right? That
I
he's
guess.
terrible.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's sad.
It's very sad, but also hilarious.
Yes, it's a good story that
That's a
we
good
enjoy.
story. All right, Jen, you're never gonna believe this.
What, Sally? What?
I also have a story. I bet you're never gonna believe
It's
it.
weird that we both have stories prepared.
I know.
Prepared stories.
I mean, I'm usually, like in my stand-up, I'm like 100% improv.
Which I've always admired about
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You
I'm just
never
so
tell
off-
the same joke twice.
No, I'm so off the cuff, but I just figured like I didn't want to let you down, so I'm gonna prepare today. Mine's kind of like starts out really sweet. It's kind of a May-December romance a bit.
Like a Harold. What?
Like a Harold and Maude,
Okay.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
is it. Okay, I'm just going to let you do it.
Yeah. No, I mean you can do it if you want to.
No, you do it. I don't
Okay.
even know it.
Okay. Okay, so this is about a guy named Dwight Bettner, and he's a 53-year-old man. He moved to a town outside of Ocala, Florida, called Fort McCoy.
Ooh,
I know, very fancy.
that sounds exotic.
Yeah, I don't want to brag, but I've done stand up there a couple times.
Do they have a Target?
No.
Oh, they don't. It's like
No, I don't think so.
okay.
It's pretty small. I mean, they might have a Target, but they have I've only done stand up at it's a racetrack, a horse racing track, and then there's like stand up in the ballroom
While the horses are racing.
while the
yeah.
horses are racing, and then so I have to be also call the races.
Do you?
No.
Oh my god.
But that would be amazing.
Oh, I've done stuff like that before, where it's like an auction and a comedy show, where I have to be like telling jokes, and then I'm like, "Can I get a?
Can I get $500?
Go once, put me out of my misery. Because I'm my stupid. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is about Dwight Bettner, and he moved to Ocala, and his next door neighbor was this 92-year-old woman. Her name is Helen Stodner. I want to give you the last name in case you want to look her up on Facebook.
92 years old.
So she's 92 years old. So, and he's 53, and so he starts like helping her out. Like she needed a part for her stove once, and he drove her into town.
39-year age difference.
Yeah,
I just did math, so
that was really
Wow.
impressive.
okay, 39. That's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
But that's happened.
that's happened.
The reverse, like men have dated.
For sure. I mean,
Okay.
92 seems like a little old to be getting into something, but I don't know.
That's true.
I just, no judgment. I mean, good for her.
Yeah.
So they start, I mean, it's very innocent, right? Like he's like helping her out. I'm sure he sees her as like a grandmother or like a mom or something.
Right.
So she's, he like, she buys him dinner. Like sometimes like he'll come over to help out and she like makes him food.
Meatballs.
And then it kind of takes a turn where it's like becomes apparent that she like actually has the hots for him. And like one time, she tried to strangle a girlfriend of his.
What if you just like had to pry her like old lady fingers? You're like, hey, that's my girlfriend. Can you just like, it's a little tight.
Like the woman's just like laughing. She's like, is she tickling me? Is this? And the grandma's just like,
Ma'am, ma'am. I'm a little uncomfortable.
you're restricting my air just a little bit. So she tried to strangle a girl, and she told him that she liked him, that she had the hots for him, and he was just like, I have a girlfriend.
Oh my god.
Like, not like, you're 92, so no, gross.
Like normally, yes, but
But I've got a girlfriend. I mean, otherwise I would totally, it's like,
maybe one day.
like he's
Yeah.
like stringing her along just in case. I mean, what if maybe he needs options, but
Maybe he needs more meatballs.
But you know what? Our girl Helen, she was not like the kind of lady to be deterred. So she went over to his house one day and just like demanded that he kiss her. Like he'd given him kisses on the cheeks before, and she was like, no, I mean like a real kiss,
Like full on make out.
like full on tongue. Like she was like,
Right.
kiss me like kiss your French girls or whatever.
Oh my god, I wonder if that song like Are you gonna kiss me? Benny the Benny. I don't know the words, but that song was playing on the background while she was like, "Kiss my."
Kiss me. And he was like, no, you know. Do you know, like, when, this is what I imagine at, like, you know, when your kids are little and they go for just, like, full open mouth kisses.
Yeah, and you have to, like.
And you're just, like, head, like, back, but you don't want to be mean, you know, so you don't want to,
Yeah.
like, hurt them. But I imagine that's what it was like. But so he didn't kiss her because, you know, he has a girlfriend and he's a very loyal guy.
And she's 92.
And she's 92. And so she gets very angry. She goes home. And she grabs her gun.
Oh my god.
And then she starts shooting up his house.
Oh my god.
Like, she went full on, like, Rambo
Like-
Granny.
Michael Douglas falling down.
Yeah.
Cuckoo. Like, just, like, had enough of unrequited love.
Yeah. She was like, I'm 92 and it's my last fucking chance. And so she was basically like, he led me on. That's what she told the police, is that he was fine. Don't worry. That's why we're laughing about it.
Okay.
Like, he didn't die or get hurt. But she
Wow.
did-
And you would think that she would try to, like, well, I guess she did try to kill his girlfriend.
Yeah,
She
right.
tried.
She just was too weak. Her arthritic hands couldn't close around her neck.
Oh my god. That's crazy. Do you know if he moved?
I don't know, but I do. But I thought the funniest quote in this story. So I got this story on from the Ocala newspaper, and they said that her friend, Helen's friend Penny, came over. She heard the shots and she came to check on her. And her quote, Penny's quote, is, "I think she was upset with him." It's like, you think, Penny?
Oh my god.
I don't know. Does Helen normally shoot up men's houses? Maybe she does.
Maybe
I don't
she
know.
does. Maybe that's her thing. But you know, everybody's, you know, got that one crazy grandparent that will just do dumb shit like that. Like, God, grandma just shooting up the neighbor's house
It's
again.
like, oh, you know, it's just Helen. You know how she's always trying to French kiss neighbors.
Ugh, God.
She's like, you know that one. You have that one aunt that like pinches like men's bottoms.
Yeah,
or,
the
like,
super
you know,
like flirtatious. I was 20 years old or whatever.
yeah,
yeah.
just like real sassy, and everybody's like, ugh, it's just Aunt Helen. I think she's Aunt Helen.
But like serious.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
that's right. You shouldn't. I mean,
I don't blame her though. I mean, well, I mean, I wouldn't shoot somebody's house up, but I'm just saying, like, if you're 92 and you're about to go, like, you know, go out with guns blazing, literally.
right,
You know?
and like tongues wagging. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Like, I would shoot at the air. I don't want to shoot anybody.
well, she didn't. She wasn't very good. She didn't actually shoot him. So maybe that's what she meant.
But like, yeah, I'll go out like that.
So that's our girl Helen. She loves love and she hates
Girlfriend.
she hates girlfriends.
All right. So those were our little quickies, little fun, short, blurby stories. Now we're gonna get into the big stuff.
Ooh, give me the dirt.
So okay. So we already decided that today, my story is going to be a little bit more dark than Sally's, because we want to end up with something light. We're going to start with heavy, end with light. So I'm the heavy. All right. So this story is a crazy love story, a love affair, a triangle, if you will. Yes.
Ooh, I like a triangle.
A triangle. And there's actually a really amazing documentary about this that's called Tall Hot Blonde. But this is the story of the Tall Hot Blonde.
Okay, I don't know this one.
All right. It's good. It's really good. Okay. So there was a 46-year-old man. His name's Thomas Montgomery. With the screen name Marine Sniper, which, you know, sounds inviting.
I guess.
Marine sniper? I would want to talk to a marine. I would not. Like, that's a
marine
terrible.
sniper? What is he sniping if he's a marine? Aren't those boat people?
I think he's.
Sniping.
No, Navy is boat people.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I mean, I can
apologize.
see
Thank you for
marine,
your-
marina. Okay,
Thank
I
you
get
for
it.
your service. I would like to clarify that I am a military brat. Like, my dad was. I grew up on Air Force bases, so that's just me being dumb.
Air Force, that's Navy, right?
No, that's the Air Force.
But there's Navy planes. Whatever. Okay, anyway, this is about love gone wrong. This isn't about the Army or Navies. Okay, anyway. So Thomas Montgomery, 46-year-old, by the screen name Marine Sniper. And he was married father of 2. And in May of 2005, he went on a teen, okay, this is what, like, he's gross. He went on a teen chat room for a game. There was a game called Pogo. I've never heard of it. But he went on posing as a young, handsome Iraq-bound Marine, which we now know is not in the water. Okay, so he immediately meets this young girl named an 18-year-old girl named Tall Hot Blonde, which of course you can guess she's beautiful, blonde, tall, hot blonde. So they started chatting it up in the game room, and then they became their flirtation became a romance. So then once they started talking, she revealed that her real name was Jessie and that she's a softball player who still goes to high school. She's a senior, lives in West Virginia. But she starts sending him, who she thinks is an 18-year-old, she keeps sending him like racy photos.
Okay.
And very provocative photos. And then she wants a picture of him. So then, of course, he sends a picture that was from 30 years before. So, like, I mean, I don't know how she didn't notice. Like,
was she like, ooh, did you put some cool filters
the
on
filter, yeah.
I went through like a phase where like every photo on my phone was like
Look like the Nashville
yes, like
edit,
yeah, like or like the
or
like
filter, yeah.
Yes.
So maybe she thought it was just like an interesting filter, but it was a photo from 30 years ago, when he actually was in the military when he was a young guy. So he like fed her all these stories, telling him that he was like in covert ops and stuff. That he was a bad boy. But she called him Tommy. That was the name that she had for him. Like when she finally revealed his name to her, he didn't even reveal. Well, I guess Tommy, like the younger version of Thomas.
He would make a really bad spy.
Like, yeah.
It's like, Tommy. No, it's Schmamus.
It could be anyone you want, man. You can be Thomas. Yeah, Schmamus. So they got really, heavy into their relationship, he was losing touch with reality. He actually like wrote a note to himself saying that like this is a quote, on January 2nd, 2006, Tom Montgomery, 46 years old, ceases to exist and is replaced by an 18-year-old battle-scarred Marine. He's moving to West Virginia to be with the love of his life. Like what kind of delusion that you literally think you're just going to transform into this
right.
person. Like he really thinks he's going to be this person and go be with this
what a sad, I mean, like
17-year-old.
Ugh, can you imagine being
Dude.
a 17-year-old? Like no offense, 17-year-olds, but like no thanks.
No kidding. I don't care if you play softball.
I don't care.
You're
if
probably
tall.
annoying. You're probably very needy. Anyway, then one day, in March 2006, one of his children, his daughter, is on his computer and sees all of these instant messages between him and this girl Jessie.
She's
and
like,
then
Grass, Dad.
yeah, and they're like all these love letters and sexy photos and whatever. So she tells her mom and shows it to her mom, and then her mom is like, "What?" And then the mom then goes online and addresses this girl Jessie and is like, "Dude, I don't know who you think you're talking to, but the man you're talking to is my husband." And he's 46 years old.
Good
and
for her.
yeah, so like get with it. So she tells her, and then the girl Jessie then is like wants to check and make sure that this woman is legit, whoever is. I'm like, I love how she's questioning, "Oh, are you legit?"
Right.
Not Tommy, the like sniper
Yeah.
in the Black Ops or whatever. She's like yeah, that all checks out. Yeah, I believe you. And then the wife is like, "Hello, this is me." And she's like, "Let me do some research." So she goes and she contacts one of, I guess she knows like where this guy works, Tommy Tom. She knows where he works, so she finds a way to contact one of his co-workers, and she emails him and says, "Is this true? Is Thomas Montgomery, a 46-year-old man?" And he's like, "Yes, I'm sorry, it's true." This guy's name is Brian, whose screen name is Beefcake.
Oh, Brian sounds hot.
They're and he's 22, so he's legitimately 22 and
Okay.
closer to her age.
Yeah.
Whatever. So then Brian and her start chatting,
Oh.
and then they start up a romance, an online romance, and then in the meantime, Jesse still goes back to old guy
Yeah.
Thomas and is like, "I still miss you. I still love you." So she's carrying on an online love affair with both young dude Brian,
Yeah.
Beefcake, old man Thomas,
All
sniper
online.
pants. All online, yeah. So
Oh,
all
man.
online. And then Thomas, old guy, which by the way, like 46 is not that old.
He's so ancient.
I'm 39. He's not that old, but when he's talking to a 18-year-old, that's old. Okay, so anyway, so he just becomes obsessed with her, and he's addicted to her, like can't live without her, just messaging her nonstop. And it's like he starts to spiral, and then he finds out about this guy Brian, Beefcake, his coworker Beefcake Brian, who's been messaging her. So then he goes and he drives to where they work, and then he shoots him 3 times and kills him in the
What?
parking lot where they work. Yeah, like
Oh,
he
that took
snipered him.
That took a real turn. He's like Helen.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
except better
crazy
shot.
gun shit.
Old,
Love guns.
Old dude.
We do not condone the use of any love guns.
No.
We're just calling it love guns for the sake of being funny. But anyway, so this guy, he kills the 22-year-old Brian Beefcake. And then, so when the police want to investigate into this whole love triangle, they actually go to Jesse, Tall Hot Blonde's house to meet her, to understand, where everything happened, the love triangle between the two of them. But when they get there, they find out that Jessie is not Jessie, but she's a woman, a full-grown woman named Mary Schuyler, who opened the door.
What?
Yes. And she was playing both of them the whole time. So she was a divorced mother, and she was using pictures of her daughter. It was her daughter was Jessie.
Gross.
Yes,
Wait,
dude.
Wait, so was she like asking her daughter to pose provocatively?
I don't know if she like had all these like maybe somehow had access to her daughter's account and had these like sexy pictures of her daughter, which gross.
Right?
Gross. And then so she was using those pictures to catfish these 2 guys who ended up killing, who one of them ended up murdering. Brian Barrett is his name. And then so she, Montgomery pled guilty, and in exchange for his plea, he received a 20-year sentence. So she didn't serve any jail time, and she was not held accountable for any of that shit. But her husband then divorced her over her deception, and her daughter Jessie cut ties with her as well. So she lost her family. So she didn't come away completely unscathed. She lost her family in the process, but she was never held accountable for any of her catfishing that caused the death of Brian Barrett.
Do you think that was the original catfish?
No, no way, because this was in 2011. There's been so
Oh, it
many
was in
catfishes before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was, no, I'm sorry, this was in 2005. The article was written in, I'm really bad at checking my work. This happened in
What?
2005, but catfishing happened like as soon as the internet started.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Like people were,
People were pretending to be someone they weren't.
immediately. Yeah. So there's no way
Wow.
that was the first one, but that was a pretty heavy catfishing
That's
love
a crazy
triangle.
story. Can you imagine the wife? How pissed you would be. You'd be like, you, first of all, you ruined our lives
Yeah.
over not even an
I
18-year-old.
know.
Like, how pissed would you be?
Seriously, but like the thing is, he should be pissed at, well, obviously pissed at himself, but
Yeah.
I mean, but he was catfishing her too. Like, so, because he was pretending to
Oh,
be
right,
an
yeah.
18-year-old. And so he was doing the same thing. So how can you be someone that is like, and not even stop to think for a second? Like, if you're catfishing someone
Be like,
and you don't
this
even
may be
stop
happening.
for a second to be like, maybe I should check out that you're who you say you are.
Oh yeah,
Like,
but
he
you probably
just
couldn't Facebook somebody then or LinkedIn.
Yeah, like he just 100% believed that this person was who she
Well,
said
he
she
was
was.
like, well, yeah,
Hey.
of course, an 18-year-old hot blonde would be into me.
I gather that we're probably gonna have a lot of these catfish type stories on here. Because we're gonna be super successful and we're gonna do about 500 episodes probably.
Ooh, wow.
So I would say that we're probably gonna do some more. But I think that the general rule for any catfishing is if the person's hot, they're probably not that person.
If some hot person out of the blue is like, hey,
Is talking to you,
you seem
I think-
so interesting. Be
Yeah.
like, nope.
On a gaming site, especially called Pogo, yeah, they're probably not that person. And I think that it's so unfortunate. The one person that actually was who he said he was going to be, Beefcake, is the person that lost their life,
I
the
know.
person that died. But these two idiots are still out there living life.
Ugh, that was a good story. All right, so I have one last story, and we want to kind of end every episode with like a nice story.
Yeah, mine was
like
a
an
bummer.
actual love story. So
To show
mine,
that, like, it's not all terrible.
yeah,
Love is nice.
Love can be nice. I just had my it was our 13th wedding anniversary.
Oh my god, I know.
Can you believe it?
Congratulations. I know, and you guys are so sweet and in love.
Yeah, it's amazing because they say that, like, child brides don't usually last. Because, like, I'm only 26, but but yeah, we're really going strong.
Oh, you guys got married when you were 12?
Yeah, we were babies.
Oh, that's sweet.
Okay, so here's my story. This
Okay.
is also a Russian story. But this is the year was 1945, and takes place in Borovlyanka. I'm really sorry, I'm so bad with
Speaking Russian.
yes. Really, any other language is just not in my forte. Okay, this is in Borovlyanka, Siberia, which we all know, we didn't have to look up, is a part of Russia. And this is 1945. We also all definitely knew this was during World War II, right? And,
I did know that, actually.
and we also knew that that the USSR was a part of the Allied forces. You knew that? Okay, yep, me too.
We didn't know that the Navy was the Navy 10 minutes ago.
Look, I know some things, but I don't know
The
most
Navy
things.
was boats.
Well, I just thought also the Marines. What's it? We'll look it up.
I honestly don't.
Okay. Yeah, don't get all high and mighty.
I don't know.
They can
I don't
also
think-
have boats. Okay, so we're going to talk. We have this young man. His name is Boris, and he was the secretary of the Young Communist Party, and part of Stalin's Red Army. Which, like, I mean, it sounds bad, but also, like, 30 million men were conscripted, were like drafted into the army. You really didn't have a choice at that time.
Right.
Like,
Plus, like, I'm pretty sure people are communists now to be cool. Right? It's cool, right?
yeah.
I mean, they have their own bookstore. It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. That's cool. It's totally cool. And definitely in 1945 Russia, it was real cool. It was real cool in that if you weren't, then they had these things from basically 1920 to 1950 something called the Purges, which is like a prequel to the movies The Purges, The Purge.
Like, for real.
For real. But
Wow.
so we're either people who are like said to be enemies of the state, which is like journalists or scholars or artists or just a regular schmo who didn't want to join the army, like, or if they were in the army and they weren't enthusiastic enough, like anybody, for whatever, some reasons or no reason at all, would be either exiled or executed or imprisoned.
Oh my God.
And millions of people, like over 1 million people died from these purges. Like,
Shit.
so basically Stalin, his army killing their own people.
This is a nice story?
Yeah, this is a nice story. So, I mean, people so there was actually this guy, so Anna Kozlov, she is the woman in our story. So her father, this happened to her father. He was a farmer and he refused to work on a collective farm, which basically was like to give up his own farm and work on a collective farm. And he refused to do that. And so he was purged. He basically was exiled to, I guess, further out in Siberia, which I'm kind of thinking all of Siberia is cold, but I think there were like parts of Siberia that they like nobody lived in, and so that's where people were exiled to.
Jeez.
So he was exiled there, and but Anna and her family were still living in this Baroklovanya town, and then Boris, the young communist, was required to make a speech for the village, and Anna was there, and so after the speech, it was like fate. Like he spotted her, she was with her friends, but he was like, says he only had eyes for her, and he instantly fell in love. Like he says it was love at first sight. I mean, he loved her so much that he didn't even care that even though he was like part of the Red Army, she
Right.
was, and she was a daughter of an enemy of the state. Like basically that is like forbidden. But they fell in love. They loved each other. He would go off to like the front of the war and come back, and she was there waiting for him. They wrote love letters. And then in 1946, they got married. But 3 days later, he was shipped back off to the front. So he was out to war. She was at home. But while he was away, Anna and her family were declared enemies of the state,
Oh
like
my
her father. And so
God.
they were shipped off. And Anna says that like she threatened to commit suicide rather than go, but because she was like, I can't live without him. He's the love of my life. But she was forced to go, and she says it was the most miserable time of her life. And they couldn't leave a forwarding address, which I don't know if that was a thing they did at the time, but he had
Like,
no idea. So he got back and basically
325
Yeah.
Siberia
Like,
Lane.
outer Siberia,
Right at the boulder.
I mean, she couldn't even leave that. Like, she didn't have her forwarding stickers.
Oh
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
she didn't think ahead to go to the post office.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe she was heartbroken.
One of those Facebook like logging off for a little while, just
Going
to
to
get my
outer Siberia.
head. Yeah. Just taking a little face break in outer Siberia.
So basically, he got back and was like, "New number, who dis?" Like he was like, couldn't find her. He
God.
looked and looked. He traveled around. He asked around, and nobody knew
Oh my god, how
where she was. She was just
horrible.
gone. So years go by, and she's in her new village, and her mother is like kind of a bee, and she's like, "You have to get remarried. You have to get married." And she has a guy that she is like secured for her to marry, who I guess is also in exile. And
How old is she around? She's like
20. She's like
Okay.
in her 20s or young.
okay.
I could do the math, but that might take a long time.
No, I believe you. 20 sounds good.
Something Marines. Okay, so she, her mom is like, it's time to get married. Like, Boris is gone.
Yeah.
And to the point where the mother burns all of like her wedding pictures to Boris, all of the letters, everything.
That's just mean.
It is mean. And so Anna, she actually gets like rope, and goes to the barn to like hang herself because she is going to be like forced to marry this guy.
Oh my god.
And her mother catches her and is just like, "You're being dumb. This is your life now. You're never going back. You can't be with him. Like, you have to make a life here." And so she does. She marries the guy. And then Boris also in the village where they are, he also ends up remarrying. And years go by. So they live their separate lives, right? They both get married. Both of their spouses actually end up dying. So now, so let's fast forward to 2008. They're both in their 80s.
Oh.
And Boris, he has moved away, and obviously the Soviet Union fell, so people who were in exile were allowed to return. She made her own life somewhere. So she was back in that village for a family wedding. He was back in the village just by happenstance
Oh my god.
to visit his his family's grave, I think, his parents' grave, and she's standing by her old house, and he happens to be walking down the street, and they look up and they see each other. They're both 80 years old.
Oh my God.
And they lock eyes, and they know that it's each other.
That it's, oh my God.
And he basically was just like, I've been looking for you my whole life, and it's you, and I can't believe this is happening. And they stay up and they talk all night, and then they end up getting remarried.
Oh my God, that's so sweet.
And then they live happily ever after.
That's amazing. And I know it sounds after I said thank God that the other ones died. But I mean, what if they hadn't?
Right?
That wouldn't have been as cool of a story.
They're like, hey, Boris. Oh, meet my wife, Irina.
Oh, that's cool. She seems nice. But like, you know, if heaven exists, you know, what if when they do pass on and then they go and their you know, ex is waiting like, hey, you're here, and he's like, oh, but I could have.
So he actually became a writer. After,
Really?
Yeah, after the war, and his first book he had, like, when she was gone, he dedicated to her to like his
To trying to find her.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
the love of his life. And he said, since we found each other again, I swear we haven't had a single quarrel. We've been parted for so long, and who knows how much time is left for us. So we just don't want to lose time on arguing. And can I show you the picture of them
Oh my God,
together now?
yes.
This is them as young people, and this is them together. Look
Oh
at
my
them.
God, that's so cute. He looks like the old man from Up.
Right? And I mean, but would you, like, looking at the picture and then looking at them, I'm like, I wouldn't recognize him.
I wouldn't recognize him, but I would recognize her.
Yes.
She
has the
still
same
has
cheeks.
the same face.
We'll put this on our Instagram, which is at Dumb Love Podcast. So follow us on Instagram. We also have email.
Yes, it's dumblovepod@gmail.com. So we want to hear the dumb shit you guys have done for love. Just
Yeah.
like whatever hilarious, funny,
tragic,
not
whatever.
funny, embarrassing.
Yeah.
We've all got them. We want to hear what your story so that we can have them on our next coming episodes.
Okay, so we want to end all of our episodes with talking about something that was dumb this week and something that we loved.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll go first. So I think the dumb thing is just is me. My husband made like an amazing meal
For your anniversary?
Not for our anniversary, just
What a guy.
Just
because.
Just because.
Aw.
But it really upset my stomach, like instantly after.
Oh no.
And then the next day, I ate the leftovers for lunch,
Knowing.
and then you want to know what happened? It
Yeah.
instantly upset my stomach. And I was just like, because I was like, ooh, this is like delicious, and I just
Well, you know, it's really hard to turn down a prepared meal that's
Right?
sitting in front of you when you're home by yourself.
I know. So maybe it's his fault. I feel like maybe it's his fault. So that's my dumb thing. I'm a dum-dum. And my love thing was, it was my anniversary this week, and my husband is amazing. But the nicest thing was that you sent me a message and on our anniversary and said, hey, I can watch your kid.
Yeah.
Which is like it's like, we moved here not that long ago, and so we don't have very many people in the area. It's just like, for somebody to offer that is such like a huge thing. It
Aw.
like really almost made me cry.
Oh, don't cry, Sally. That's
I mean,
dumb.
I didn't. I mean, I just didn't cry because I'm like really cool.
No, well, we're always happy to help. I mean, and I know, like, you know, like, I have 2 kids, and so having another kid, it's just like, it's actually easier because
Right.
then it distracts my 2 from each other, and I'm like, oh, cool, another kid to play with.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah.
stop killing each other. And so, and then, you know, it is like, it's fun for us, and then you guys get to go out. So anytime, dude.
Oh yeah, yeah.
This goes for all of you listening. Just
Right.
bring your kids.
Jill loves extra
I
kids.
love extra kids. Anytime. Okay, so I think my dumb thing is I know what my dumb thing was. My dumb thing was I had like a really crazy set the other night. Not a bomb like where like your standard bomb, but it was I had a weird internal panic attack while on stage. I think it's because yesterday was my birthday. I turned 39. I'll say it, 39. And
Ooh, brave.
yeah, I'm so brave. And I don't know. I don't know if it was like my birthday coming up or what, but I just kind of had that. This year's been kind of crazy. But I just had this like kind of internal meltdown on stage. Like the audience couldn't tell, but in my head, I was just like internally like, what am I doing? What is my life? Am I terrible? I'm a terrible comedian. Why is look at all these people are staring at me. I've never once looked into an audience and said, oh wow, they're all staring at me. But at that moment, I'm like, you're all fucking staring
They're all
at me.
always staring at you.
And so I kind of just like had a mini meltdown, and then as soon as I got off the stage, tried to get out of there with any comics seeing me, and I unfortunately too did see me cry, but they were very sweet and they like helped me through. But that's the only time I've ever done anything like that in all my years of stand up. I just had a mini meltdown, so that was dumb. But
It's dumb. Well, I mean, it's dumb because it happens.
Yeah,
It happens to all. It's happened to me for sure. Like, I've definitely had those moments on stage where you're just like, I'm horrible. I'm never going to be funny again. And this is like, you're just like spinning out in your own head.
Yeah.
Even though you're like, no, this is actually fine. It's actually going fine.
yeah,
But it feels bad.
yeah.
But it's also dumb because you are so funny. And like, so that's just,
thanks.
it's dumb that you feel that way, but I also understand it. We've all been there.
Yeah, it's funny how people don't realize that comedians can have an entire, because you get used to doing your set so much, you kind of sometimes can go on autopilot, and you might be saying words that are and telling a different story while you're on stage, but in your head you're having a completely different conversation, like a full-on conversation.
Like, I'm like, look at that guy.
Yeah.
Why is he looking at me like that? What is he thinking? I'm gonna have to say something to him. Nope.
And then
No.
sometimes
Yeah.
you lose track, and then you're like, wait, what am I even saying right now? Like, what are the words that are coming out of my mouth? You disconnect so much that you're like, I don't even know what I'm saying to you guys right now. Why are you staring at me? And so, okay, so that was my dumb thing. My the thing that I love was that yesterday, because I was feeling so down on myself, yesterday was my birthday, and I didn't even want to celebrate it or do anything or even tell anybody it was my birthday. But the Atlanta comedy scene is so amazing, and they like made a bunch of lovely posts wishing me happy birthday and saying nice things that made me feel like, okay, maybe I'm not a total piece of shit. And like
such
maybe
a lovely
it
thing.
really made me feel so great and made me realize that, like, you know, I'm too hard on myself, and it made me feel loved and special, and I'm like, and I love the Atlanta comedy scene, so I felt good about that. Also, the dinner that we had last night, we went to a place in Grant Park. It's called Mediterranean. If you're gluten-free, their entire restaurant is gluten-free and delicious, and then they have a lot of vegan options, which is cool too. So check them out. Maybe they'll send me a gift card because I just said that. I hope
Sponsors.
so. I'm going to go back on Wednesday. They have half-price bottles of wine on Wednesday, which was really nice.
And that's where we're going to be recording our podcast from.
Yeah.
After half-price bottle of wine. It'll be a much more loosey-goosey podcast.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for listening. This is our first go, and I think, I think we nailed it.
Yeah. Go out there and spread some love.
Yeah. Be dumb.
Be dumb and love.
All right. Bye.